The law doesn't say I must give it to him directly.
Yes.
But you see, the office of the governor,
yes,
and that of the speaker,
yes,
they are like two different institutions.
No doubt, yes.
So I cannot take a letter addressed to one institution,
yes,
to another institution and expect that it be acted on.
No, you can't. I'll give you an example.
Why should it be acted on?
Can I give you another example? Let's say the letter is addressed to the governor, copy of the letter to the speaker.
Who is not part of the constitution? It's not mentioned there.
No, it just says appropriate authorities. Appropriate authorities. So who are the people we're referring to as appropriate authorities? Those in what you call either executive arm or legislative arm. He can't give it, for instance, to the chief judge of the state. Nobody will act on that because the chief judge of the state is not recognized under the set guidelines or persons recognized under that provision of the constitution. But he can give it to any of the people performing executive or legislative function. So if he gives it to the executive, it's as good as done. If he gives it to the legislature, it's as good as done.
Well, what Mark Williams Kingsley is asking, can the deputy governor in question become the flag bearer of his party in the scheduled election by INEC?
He can. He can. If, for instance, he submits himself to the party primaries and emerges from the party primaries, or is adopted by his party, it then means that the speaker that is there now, mind you, the speaker is merely acting. He's not the substantive governor, he's merely acting. For the purpose of the election, he will only act until election is conducted. If he so decides that, look, I have enjoyed the perks of office, I love the paraphernalia of office, I also want to run for governor of the state, he can submit himself also to the party primaries because he has to emerge through the party process.
Okay, how about this one? We'll continue saying that the intention or otherwise of the deputy governor is an issue of fact and cannot override a constitutional provision. Says it's immaterial.
No, he's also correct, but you see, when he says it's an issue of fact, yes, but what is the law? The law is clear, and that's what we have just looked at now. 306(1) and 2 and section 191 also talks about vacancy in relation to the office of the deputy governor. Was there a vacancy? That's the question you ask yourself. Was there a vacancy? That's what 191 says. If indeed there was a vacancy, it's clear as to who should come in. Was there a vacancy? If there was a vacancy, the speaker who is now acting as acting governor has gone through the normal constitutional process envisaged by the Constitution where a vacancy occurs. So if there was no vacancy, then there would have no need to swear in the speaker.
So even though the House of Assembly is not, they did not appoint him,
yes,
they can receive the
yes, letter. They can. It's there, it says persons. It says persons. So the question you ask yourself is, look, the House of Assembly of the state has the power to impeach, right? So in other words, the power to also remove resides with the House of Assembly. Now, if the House of Assembly has that power to impeach, and the deputy governor now feels that, look, I don't want to go through this impeachment. I mean, mind the impeachment is anchored on what is referred to as gross misconduct. I don't want anything to stain my status. If you're impeached, there are also constitutional limitations. So he probably felt that, look, I don't want to impeach because I still have political ambition. If he has political ambition and he does not want to be impeached, perhaps that's why he transmitted his letter of resignation. Because he does not want the constitutional limitation to be a barrier against his political ambition.
What if it turns out that the court rules otherwise, because this matter has already gone there?
No, it's beautiful if the court rules, and that's the essence of having the court in any way. You can go to court to seek redress. It is for the court to determine the provision of the Constitution. But for me, the way I've looked at it, as far as I'm concerned, I'll give you an example. You remember sometimes there's also what we refer to as the doctrine of necessity. So a while back, I think it was Governor Ladoja who was impeached. Now, after his impeachment, his deputy was sworn in as governor. When he succeeded in obtaining the impeachment, he went back to court, even though he's gone back to his office. He went back to court for constitutional interpretation of his tenure. What was it that the Supreme Court said? The aspect of your tenure is not an issue. The fact is, at the time you were impeached, the Constitution does not envisage vacuum. The office of the governor was not vacant. Your deputy acted for you. So you continue with your tenure. And now that you've come back, you've concluded the tenure, as simple as that. So the court is there to merely interpret the provision of the Constitution. I don't see the hue and cry. It's just, I don't know why we hit up. If a man says, look, I'm no longer interested, and transmitted a letter, and he didn't challenge the first week of transmission, he didn't challenge the second week of transmission, after several months, and then suddenly, so you can tell that some people somewhere have advised that, look, there's an opportunity here. you can actually go back.
So he cannot change his mind?
He can, but as far as we're concerned, the train has since left the station. Every other thing that he's doing now is an afterthought.
All right, Mr. Norrison, Quakers is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Thank you for coming on this morning.
My pleasure.